And normally for those speeches, you have to, you can watch them. Though sometimes most of what those people talk about, sometimes they are really for those who stay in those countries, they will understand better because they know what's going on in their nation. So they, you can understand things better. But if you've been following them up closely, then you can watch those speeches and then you can interpret them to see how they can affect the charts that you're trading. So normally you just have to look for those online channels that are international. There are not so many, so they are very particular, especially to the states where these events are coming out. Yeah, so someone was asking me about how do you get the fundamental analysis for stock charts, charts like Apple, Google, Tesla. Yeah, so for all those charts, they don't normally, there's no economic calendar. The way you see an economic calendar that has news from all countries. For stock charts, you actually have to actually be reading about those particular countries. If it's Google, then you have to follow it up. Yeah, and then you, maybe to their websites, maybe wherever the information is, you have to be having all those sources lined up on your computer so that every time you have to trade that chart, you go to that source of information and then you know what's happening in that country, then, in that company, then you can, get the fundamental analysis like that. So for stock charts, you have to go to so many sources. For Forex charts, you have an economic calendar. Some are more detailed than others, but they mostly have the same information. So, so for most companies, they have products. Like Apple has phones and some computers. Tesla has cars. Microsoft has computers. So you just have to, mostly product launches, product upgrades, and maybe when products are failing, when there's a general failure in products, those are events that sometimes will give you the analysis that you need for your charts. So if you're looking for analysis for stock charts, you have to really dig deep and find out what's happening to those companies, what people are talking about, and just like that you get your information. And most of those companies, they are very transparent. Yeah, so you know how many people work in a company, you know how much salaries they are paying. If there's unfair treatment in a company, you'll know about it because it will affect the stock price. Things are very serious for those people out there. So all that information is available, and once you get it, then you will easily know when to buy your stock and when to sell it. Yeah, so let's take a look at the economic calendar and we see the events that are affecting the market today. Yeah, so today there are many speeches. The very first speech, it's going to be in about 45 minutes. That is a speech from the European Central Bank. So with speeches, we don't have previous figures, we don't have the consensus, we don't have, there are no actual figures. So basically for these ones here, it's just a speech. And the Euro USD has been very bearish. And this one here is affecting the euro. So most likely, the biggest impact will obviously be on a chart like the Euro USD. So this one here is just a speech. You can look at the flow of the speeches since this week began. The chart has been very bearish. Yesterday it was in some kind of sideways market. There wasn't much happening there, but right now it has really sold. Then there will be another speech at 4 p.m. This one will be affecting the Swiss, the CHF, and so that's a quarterly bulletin. It's not a speech. This one is a report. So for the reports, what you do, if you want to read the report, you just follow. The link on the economic calendar. It will take you to the website of that bank. Then in that website, you will get that full report, and you can download it. This one is taking a bit too long. But when you follow those links, it will get you to that report. You will download it, and then you will see what is there. And these reports, they don't just give you that impact, that instant impact on your charts. These ones there, they can give you some it can give some long-term projection into that particular chart. So it's good to read those reports and know where the market is going to head in the future. The analysis, you can just look at the analysis that other people have made regarding that, or you can see where the market is headed after that report has been released. Then, just like that, you'll get your analysis. 15 minutes past 4, at that time at 4:15, there's going to be another speech. And this one will, all of them are from the European Central Bank, these speeches. So that, that means that today, things are going to be quite interesting from 4 p.m. onwards. These events will come in at 5, pending home sales. Now we have some statistics here affecting the US dollar. This one here is very low impact, but there's a big improvement there from negative 8.5% to 14.5%. That's a very big improvement, and for that event, if the figure is high, then it is good for the US dollar. If pending home sales, if that number is that big, then it's good for the US dollar, and it should give some good volatility in a positive direction. Then that one was year over year. This one here is a month on month. So this one here, it's also good. This one here is a medium impact event. But given how the market is moving, these ones could easily give some good volatility. Now this one is also an improvement for the US dollar from negative 1.8% to 1.4%. So that is good for the US dollar. Then the crude oil stocks change. This one is very low impact, but if you trade crude oil, this will obviously give you some. It will give you some volatility there, something there. And this one is a very low impact event. That will be at 5:30. Then 6:30, another speech from the European Central Bank. So many of these people are talking, and Europe is not like America. America is a very big country with so many states. Europe is physically smaller, and but anyway, so these events here, they are all within one tight spot. If I'm saying it like that, because the land is not as big as that of the United States. So this one here, it's a bit. All these pictures are coming from. They're all affecting one currency anyway, so they are coming from one tight spot. It's not like if America was having many speeches, you have some from the East Coast, others from the West Coast. Those ones would give you a different kind of volatility. But these ones here, these ones here are quite, they are quite many. Because after 7:30, there is now the high impact events begin. There are 3 of them. There is a speech from the Federal Reserve Chairman, Powell. So he'll be speaking at 6:45. High impact at the same time. The European Central Bank President will also be speaking at 6:45. Then at 7:30, there will be another speech from the President of the European Central Bank. So that is, this is quite. I haven't seen these many speeches all together like this, especially even yesterday there were many speeches. And today we also have so many speeches like this. Others might be low impact speeches, but they are all, they are all equally, they are going to contribute to something big today. So we should keep an eye out for that. At midnight there will be also another speech, from the Federal Reserve. Another speech at midnight exactly. So this, Anthony, is a Federal Reserve Bank of New York. So this one here is quite, it's quite something. So these speeches must not be taken for granted. Let's just keep an eye out for what will be happening on the charts. And it's not far from now. It's about just a few hours for these events to take shape. So those are very, very vital events to look out for. So from 5:30 up to 7:30, Just be on alert, and just keep on watching your charts, and whatever happens. The good thing today is not Friday. Today is Wednesday, so whatever happens tonight or this evening, you'll have a good flow of the market tomorrow morning, and you can make your decisions like that. If you want to trade in the moment when these things are taking place, then you can go ahead and you can go ahead and exercise yourself. You could land on something nice there. Yeah, so this is the Euro USD. It is seriously selling. It is seriously selling, and yeah, it's not so bad. It's in a selling movement. It has been selling for quite some time, and we haven't yet got confirmation for a reversal yet. There have been many places where we thought a reversal would be, but that may not be happening anytime soon. Yeah, so sometimes on a rare occasion, something like this happens. The market has been following these retracement levels. Price has broken below the 100 mark. Yeah, so all this area being the danger zone, and price has actually gone through it, and we have had a burst in that direction right now. There's still some time to the speech. This about 37 minutes. So whatever they're going to discuss there, I don't know, but looks like some events. Maybe could it be this MBA mortgage applications or whatever? Something has caused, there's a spike downwards. It looks like a spike. But anyway, something has caused that, and that's where we are right now. So price has broken below this 100 mark. So we could possibly be having a continuation of a downward trend. That is very possible right now. Could have a continuation there. Maybe if we get some long-term divergence in the 4-hour chart, it could make sense of what is happening there. If I put the relative strength index, we look at these high points and this low point, maybe it doesn't give us divergence. But anyway, it's just it's just simple price action that is taking place. Yeah, so price is moving downwards, and it's quite interesting. Yeah, so we just keep on watching this. We could continue selling. Let me see, there's this area here, the 161.8. Now those are areas which are very far. You can maybe keep on watching towards there. A major resistance has been broken, a major support. It was broken there, it was tested, then price came back and bounced on it, and now it is slightly below it. So a very strong support level has been broken, and yeah, that is quite interesting. It is good news, because you have a continuing trend. The trend hasn't yet stopped. So that's for the Euro USD. Let's see how other charts are moving on. This is a USD JPY. Okay, my charts are they're taking some time to load. Let's see the charts that are already open. I guess all these were from another broker or something like that, because they're still waiting for an update. But anyway, that's, I think, until my connection comes back, I might not look at any other charts. But maybe okay, looks like my charts are not loading. There's something wrong with my connection or something else, I don't know. But anyway, maybe let's talk about manual trading and robots, automated trading and manual trading. Something which it has been a debate, not so much of a debate, but it has been talked about on the Telegram group. Yeah, so there are people who trade manually, there are those who use robots, and there seems to be a divide between the two, but it's all the same. These are just two aspects within the same market. It's like if you decide to build a house using your hands, or if you get cranes and all these other things that mix cement and all that stuff to ease the work for you. So it is still construction, but some people might headline to, we do this. Okay, I think the best example is using steel beams and columns and using these these other cement columns with stones and water. So there's normally a divide between the two. Some people say, these steel columns are very nice. Others say the cement columns are very, very nice. But it's still the same, it's still the same thing that you're doing. So irrespective of how you approach the market, what you're doing is, it's in the same line. And I think the problem could be that some people who trade with robots don't want to trade manually. And those who trade manually, you feel like you've really gone through so much to learn how to do those things that you feel like you want to practice what you have studied, which is good because what a robot does is entirely different from what a human being does. So if a robot is trading for you, it doesn't mean that it's doing what you would have done, because in actual sense, there is no way a human being can do what that robot does. You can try, maybe you can do it 1% of the time, but the other time the robot is very relentless. So what it does is very different from what you can do. Then also what you do, the robot cannot do that because you have feelings and all that. And every time you look at a chart, maybe like gold, you might have some feelings towards gold, and you feel like you want to trade that, even when the analysis doesn't add up. You just feel like you want to trade that. So the robot, it doesn't have feelings, it can't do that. So it won't enter trades the way you will enter them manually. So the two things are actually, one is just on another level, different from the other, but it's basically the same thing. And the goal is to make some money out of it. So if the robot makes it a bit easier, then you put in the robot and you make some money, because everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. You shouldn't lie to yourself about your strengths and weaknesses. The robot might be part of your strength, or the manual trading might be your strength, because when you're very comfortable about a certain trade, you will put in the bigger risk. I keep showing that with a robot. Sometimes robots enter a trade, then it takes profit when there is still so much gap to make more money. And that is normally, that normally, it's something you can normally benefit from more than if you let the robot just take a small profit. That's when your manual trading kicks in, because you have seen this and it's a very good area to trade, and the robot is taking a small profit, but the robot doesn't know, because the robot only knows where to take a profit from. It doesn't know the gravity of the situation. It doesn't know how what is happening. First of all, the robot doesn't know fundamentals, so it won't know that there are events happening in the world that are going to push this market further. But you know it, and that's where your manual trading kicks in. You take a much bigger profit from there. Then in markets where you're not aware, where the robot is going to enter a trade based on a precise mathematical calculation, at that point, as a human being, you won't even notice it, but the robot will, and there it will be helping you. So you can work hand in hand with a robot, and because they're trading the same market, and those guys, they're using they're using robots on the other side. So on this side, you're straining your brain and doing all sorts of analysis. On the other side, they are using robots, and they're taking chunks of money from so many time frames and so many charts, and you're stuck to maybe 2 or 3. So if you give automated systems some time, if you give them some time and you study them, then you'll have a very good strategy. And for robots, if you make a weak robot means losses. That is There's nothing against. There's no explanation there required. A weak robot will make losses. Also, a robot with a weak user also leads to losses, because it's like driving a car. The car is perfect if you drive it at the right speed, but the wrong driver in a car will crash it, and that's how it is. It's like maybe there are people who call these trades sniper entries. If you're given a sniper rifle, it might have the right scope, it might have everything tuned to be perfect, but the problem will come with you, who is actually a robot, and you combine the two. I can guarantee that you're going to succeed a lot in that market, because you can analyze and you can redirect the robot to do certain things. So just like that, you will be the strong user. Yeah. So there are also robots for people who can't even trade. Yeah, a robot which will enter the market and exit, and when the trend changes, it sells. When it changes back, it buys, like that. And you can go on and on and on without even ever doing any analysis, and the robot will be entering and getting out. Yeah, so literally you can be sleeping while a robot is making money for you. Yeah, the problem with that method is, I think normally someone who wants to do that is not willing to spend, is not willing to pay. The fundamental, for every kind of dealing that takes place in the world, the one thing that never changes is supply and demand. Yeah, those two, they never, they are in every aspect of life, even in religion. Even in religion. Yeah, when God is supplying you with this, he demands something from you. So it's what he demands, that if you don't pay up, you end up in hell. Yeah, because he's going to continue supplying, because he's God. He's going to supply. He has given you air, water, land, whatever it is. Yeah, that's the general belief that God created all this stuff. So he supplies you with everything. And you see people on TV. God has given them jobs, God has given them whatever they were, whatever. Yeah, he will give you everything. So that is the supply. Then the demand is what you must give. Yeah, and yeah, so demand is, demand and supply, what can you? So when you don't give what he wants, then you go to hell. That's the general, that is the law of everything that exists. So when you want like a robot, yeah, or for someone to trade for you, like account management, your demands might be, I want so much money. Yeah, so that is your demand. But what are you going to supply? Sometimes you might want to supply nothing. Yeah, you might tell someone, let me give you this money, then I'll pay you on your profit. The profit you've made for me, I'll give you a small chunk. And that is the thing that normally brings problems with people, because you can't demand more than you can give, especially when you're the dominant partner in the equation. So so there are many people who sell these automated systems online and wherever, but to make one that actually can work for you as you're sleeping, as you're on vacations, as you're wherever, it costs something, because it really takes a lot to make it. Takes a lot to make it and put it there. So if you want to profit from it, then the law of demand and supply comes in. The one that doesn't require, the one that requires you to participate, and actually you also go through some, emotions while using it. That one, it will balance out that whole equation, and you will maybe acquire it for a certain price. But what I'm trying to get to is, when you demand so much from someone, and then you don't supply much, that is how scams come in. Someone can easily scam you, because you're fixated on paying little or paying nothing, and you want to take so much that you believe is there, and that's how you get scammed. Because and some people intentionally do that. They promise you so much for so little, and someone will tell you, I'm going to give you billions You just have to give me 10K and I'll give you billions. And just like that, you will go and collect your 10K and give it there. And then that person disappears, and then, you're scammed. But, the whole root of scamming is, demand and supply. You have to look at those two things. Do they actually balance out? So, when it comes to trading, if you want so much from the market, but you want to trade, and you want money today. Now, that is your demand from the market, but you have not studied those things. You haven't studied, you haven't even practiced, you haven't done anything, and you're demanding so much from the market, but you haven't put in anything. And that is where, even without anyone, without a third party being involved to disorganize you, you yourself and the market, you can easily derail yourself because you're not willing to put in anything. And that is the base cause of all this instability psychologically in Forex trading. When you demand so much from the market and you're not willing to put in into the market, it could be knowledge or whatever it is. If you want to make $1,000 and you want to put you want to get $1,000 out of the market, but you're putting in $10 and you want this $1,000 today. So you have very high demands, but your supply is very small. So demand and supply is not just something in it's not something just in economics, but it's a law of life, and it's very unfortunate that we don't study it like that. It's a fundamental principle that guides everything that we do in life. Even when you get a job, a job cannot demand so much from you when they're giving you so little. Or you can't demand so much money from a job when you're putting in little. Just like that, naturally, things start falling apart. Things start falling apart. If someone who is doing so little is getting so much, and someone who is doing so much is getting so little, that alone totally derails entire communities, because it is unnatural. It is very unnatural. And that is, even without knowing it, that is what derails people in these financial markets. So if you're not going to base your thinking on these principles, then at least just think about it, what you're putting in and what you expect to get out. Try to balance it, and just like that, you're going to succeed. Free things are there. There are a lot of free things, but free things can easily cost you. When even when you get something so nice that is free, you might not look after it. Even if someone gives you maybe a Range Rover for free, you might not service it, you might not buy tires, you might not. A few months later, it will be totally finished, or you might even sell it off because you received it freely. So, you might not look after it, and that is just something deep within the minds of people. It's you can have a hard shell and say so many things and convince yourself that you're tough, but deep inside in your mind, if there is no strength there, then these fundamental principles of life are just going to wear you down. So before you get into Forex, or if you're already in Forex, try to look at what you're demanding from what you're doing and what you're actually going to supply. So when you balance them out, you will have a very stable mind when you're trading, because psychology is one thing that knocks people out so many times. So once you have those principles balanced out, then you will have confidence, confidence that comes from within. You will have that confidence, and you will be a much better trader. So okay, I think that's it for today. Tomorrow I think my charts will be loaded very well. We shall look at some technical analysis. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Goodbye.